Hi, welcome to my Tokyo video. So I'm on a Trans-Pacific cruise from Brisbane to Seattle, and today I'm going to show you around Tokyo and what we did in Tokyo. Please stick around to the end because I will talk about the Tokyo train system in more detail. So if you're planning a trip to Tokyo, stick around to find out about that. So we arrived into Tokyo. It was a beautiful clear day and we could see Mount Fuji in the background, so that certainly got us quite excited. So we got off the ship at about 9 o'clock, and there was a free shuttle bus that took us to Tokyo Teleport Station. There is also another cruise terminal station that I think you can walk to, but we used the shuttle and went to Tokyo Teleport Station to get to and from the city. So from there, we got a train, and I will talk about the train travel a lot more later. It's quite confusing. So the basic is that you have to buy individual tickets because there's lots of different owners of the train lines. But anyway, stick around to find out more about the train travel if you're interested in using the trains. And so the first stop, we got the train to Shibuya, where we had to change at Osaka Station. So once we got to Shibuya, there is lots of big buildings, a lot of people. First off, we went to the Scramble Crossing, which was, as expected, it was actually pretty cool. So there are crossings that go across each of the roads and across diagonally, and hundreds of people waiting to cross. And so all of the crossings actually in Japan are quite big, and they're all very well organized. You do have to wait for the green man because there is fines for jaywalking. But as you can see here on the Shibuya crossing, the green man goes green and everybody crosses. Yeah, this is the famous Shibuya Scramble Crossing. The big billboard signs and everything got me quite excited for Tokyo and what, I thought Tokyo was going to be like. I was very excited, for it to be quite technological and quite futuristic. And this first bit at Shibuya really excited me. So we wandered around for a while, checking out some of the interesting stores, did our usual grab some breakfast at the Family Mart. So I had a chicken wrapped in rice thing, and also the most amazing, it was a crepe with cream and strawberry in it, and it was just so yum. We then kept wandering around. We found an IKEA, so that was pretty cool. Had to go in and see what IKEA was like. Of course, it was like an IKEA anywhere else in the world, but that was pretty cool. There's lots of, recognizable shops and exciting places like Uniqlo, like in its actual habitat, I guess you could call it. The Body Shop, lots of names that you'd recognize. So we wandered around. The shops don't tend to open until about 11 o'clock in Tokyo, so that was a bit of a surprise for me. We then wandered through Yoyogi Park and walked through here and around to the Meiji Shrine. So Yoyogi Park is really nice. I don't think I'd wander through there if I only had a day again, but if you've got some time, I do recommend it. It was a very nice park, quite peaceful. And we walked kind of around until we got to the entrance to the Meiji Shrine. So we didn't go into the museum at the beginning because that was 1,000 yen, and we had already walked for quite a long time and we didn't want to waste any more time. So we just wandered up through the gates. So the gates really are quite impressive. And up to the shrine, there were a lot of tourists around, I have to say, and that really, for me, was part of the reason I didn't really love this. That and the fact that it just took a long time. It was a lot of walking to get in and back out again, and I felt like you couldn't really see a lot. But it was very impressive. It is a great large shrine. So you can't get any footage within the actual shrine up the top here. So you can go up and have a look in, and it was beautiful. One of the cool things I really liked was the bit you could get a little card thing and you signed it, and then you put a message on there. I thought that was really cool. So then we got on the train and we went to Asakusa and the Sensoji Temple, which is the Buddhist temple. It's Tokyo's oldest established temple, and it was completed in 645. So that's pretty old. For lunch, we just popped into place. We had a few little bits and pieces. We had some Korean chicken, some salt spice Japanese chicken, and some fried zucchini. There was also a cat cafe. We did see a few of these around, so that was pretty exciting. So I really liked this area. So there's a lot of shops around it, and it was quite quaint and quite interesting to do some shopping there and walk around. Then you go into where the Sensoji temple is just in the same area. So I'd recommend this, as the whole area is quite interesting, and it's not like a mass amount of walking like it was to go to the Meiji Shrine. So yeah, I would recommend this area. The temple's pretty cool. So there is several buildings. It was still very busy, but I think worth visiting. So we didn't see a lot of cherry blossoms in Tokyo, but we did see a few. So after more wandering around, there was lots of strawberries for sale and melon, but melon was really quite expensive, so I was quite surprised that there was so much for sale. We then went for another walk, came across these really cool anime characters, and got the train and went to the government building to go up to the observatory. So this is the free observatory that you can go up to. When we arrived, there was quite a big line and a 45-minute wait, but it actually moved quite quickly. I don't think we did wait that long. And it was amazing views. So it was worth the wait. I don't know whether the waits to go up to like Tokyo Skytree are less even, and whether it is much more impressive. As I was very happy with the views from here. I am scared of heights, if anyone who knows me, so I was happy to not pay to go up. But yeah, most of it did have a railing up to sort of waist height, so that was fine. And we did get to see Mount Fuji from up here. So then it was time to go back to the ship. So we did enjoy just wandering back through, seeing some of the lights come on. We then got the train back to Tokyo Teleport Station and the shuttle from there back to the train. So I told you I'd talk about the trains. Okay, so the trains are quite confusing, and there are a whole lot of different train lines, and so that's why you have to buy individual tickets. Or like if you live there, there is like a Suica pass, like a tap and go pass that you can use. But for as a tourist, you have to keep buying individual tickets. I'd say it's one of the worst train systems I've ever used in my life. So you have to look on the board and find out your destination from where you are and how much the ticket costs. You then use the machines to put in the amount of money that you need. Like you choose the ticket, like a 550 yen ticket, and it pops out one of these little tickets for you. So that's all fine. It was quite confusing. You had to wait for the board to change, obviously, and tell you how much it was, like where the stations were in English, because otherwise it was very hard to find them. The map is like just super confusing because obviously it's a massive train system. Found that some of the stations just so big and took so long to get between the train lines. The trains themselves were efficient. They weren't generally running on time, though, I have to say, but they were efficient, and the boards telling where the next station was flicked between Japanese and English, so that made it quite easy.
None of them were particularly busy. I don't know if it's because there is so many different lines to take. Maybe we were taking more expensive ones. I don't know what the reasoning was, but we didn't find them particularly busy. So overall, it's quite an efficient system. I just found it really confusing, and this not being able to buy a one-day travel pass like you can anywhere else was just confusing. And a bit of fun, some pier runners running onto the cruise because they were running late. So it was beautiful sailing out in the dark. You can see the beautiful lights of Tokyo as we sailed out. We did sit for quite a long time before we ended up getting clearance to leave, so plenty of time to admire the beauty of the port. And even the industrial port looked pretty good with the lights on and in the dark. So that was our day in Tokyo. I hope you enjoyed it.
So, what would I do different if I had only just one day in Tokyo again? Well, one of the main things would be I would probably not go to the Meiji Shrine. I felt like that was a lot of time spent. I would like to go to museums. So, I would like to go back to Tokyo. I really wanted to go to Team Lab, and I didn't organize tickets because I wasn't sure of timing, and so kind of gave up on that idea. But I really would like to do that and go to some of the other museums in Tokyo. I would make sure even though I had planned it all out, I'd make sure I'd better planned it out with the train systems and that, just so I could get more done during the day. So I would have liked to have gone back to Shibuya. That was one of my plans, to go back there later in the day when the shops were open, because I didn't realize they didn't open until as late as they did. So yeah, there's a few things I'd do differently if I had just one day in Tokyo again. But anyway, next time I plan on having a few days in Tokyo, so I would like to see it again. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and that will help me bring you more content. And also you'll then get to be able to see my videos first if you subscribe, including all of the other port stops from the Trans-Pacific Cruise. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.